With me, my name is Mark Weimer. I'm a grants management specialist here with the School Time Office. You all will see me again and again in this format as continued transitions seem to take place. We're grateful for everyone's presence here today. Good morning to Simon. So today we're going to have a fun presentation on partnerships. So I'm going to share my screen once again. PowerPoint. Right. Okay. Sorry, I've been having some technical issues today here. Okay, there we go. So welcome once again. We're grateful for everyone's presence here today. We know the date is not correct, but needless to say, Shannon Sampson, who many of you all see host these meetings quite frequently, is out of town. So I'm taking the reins, and it's noted I'll be helping out more in this capacity. But I'm very grateful for everyone's presence and partnership and continuing to serve young people within the district. And so we know that working with young people in this capacity, youth development, is truly a partnership. As adults, youth workers, they are partners with young people and they're achieving their developmental outcomes. And we really want to support them to have sustainable, healthy lives. And so with that said, we recognize the value of partnerships in the out of school time space, particularly with out of school time providers. So I'm going to proceed and get into our theme for today, which is team. Together, everyone achieves more. So we know that for out of school time programs, whether they are OST providers, subcontracted entities, other smaller nonprofits, partnerships are truly critical in facilitating the programs, in navigating challenges that you might experience in under-resourced communities, in leveraging resources, enhancing such learning opportunities, whether they're collaborative, in school, auxiliary school time learning, as well as out of school time and summer youth learning, and providing opportunities to support student success. And we place a strong emphasis on FERPA data sharing, and because we really want grantees and providers to have access to data, understand the needs of the young people served by their programs. And many of your programs provide academic enrichment support, arts, cultural enrichment, various forms of positive youth development, promoting all those core developmental outcomes, strengthening families, belonging and membership. And all of this is done in partnerships, whether you're in a community-based setting or in a school, you're partners with your schools, your partners in your community-based settings, maybe you're in a community center, a DPR site, wherever your program might be, partnerships are critical. So we really want to highlight partnerships today and shine a light on a couple exceptional grantees who have prided themselves in partnerships and have been working actively in this realm. So just thinking about the benefits in a sense, when we talk about learning opportunities, we want to think about in the out of school time hours that these partnerships with schools or your community-based organizations are essential to kind of facilitate a diverse array of activities and learning capacities. Outcome-driven learning in out of school time setting can really benefit from partnerships through various resources. We know that a lot of out of school time providers use iReady and various Excel programs that promote, iLearning, math, ELA, whatever it might be. Creating these consistent learning experiences can be executed through partnerships, and that can be partnerships with other learning companies that might develop such software, and then that academic support, whether it's homework help or one-to-one tutoring. Out of school time programs can truly reinforce academic goals and achievement. So working in collaboration with your partner schools, even if your program doesn't operate a school, reaching out to the school that the young person attends, finding out where they are in terms of academic performance and score performance, any needs, maybe they have reading development supportive needs, whatever it might be, thinking about how your organization can support and promote their greater academic achievement by providing that supplemental enrichment during out of school time hours. And that is truly fortified through partnerships. And then positive youth development, of course. We're out of school time programs for a long time. Positive youth development, previously known as advancing youth development, can be fostered through such partnerships. Young people recognize when adults are on the same page. There's often a lot of dissension and challenges within their lives. Often they're getting mixed messages from adults. Adults at school might tell them one thing, adults at home might tell them another thing. But recognizing a partnership where there might be some cohesiveness between their school teachers, maybe their special resource officers at school, their out of school time providers, and having that same page mentality and reinforcing the values and goals that we are trying to set and establish for these young people to achieve can truly be attained by prioritizing that positive youth development. And for those who take those youth development trainings and workshops, you'll learn that youth development is very much a partnership as well as a process. So we want to think about their social, emotional interaction, their skill development, which could be cognitive learning and critical thinking skill development, as well as exploration of their own personal interests outside of traditional school setting. And so we do ask today if you do have your microphone on, if you can kindly mute so we don't have any feedback and so everyone can listen. And then we will have opportunities for questions. We can assure you that much. All right, so the benefits. We've talked about the resource sharing and cost effectiveness. Quite often, smaller organizations will partner with larger organizations, and they'll think about how they can collaborate. Maybe they're identifying joint funding opportunities. The School Time Office, we highly emphasize partnerships because we know that they can be really effective, particularly in high priority wards, and recognizing that the collaboration between organizations can promote the sharing of resources. Let's say you all are working together and you have a STEAM program, for example, or some sort of arts enrichment program, and maybe one program provides gardening and another program is focusing on STEAM. You can supplement, complement one another through your shared expertise, various different funding allocations, and making programming more cost effective for you all as providers. It also promotes greater enrollment and access within programs. So when we think about increasing enrollment for our youth, we know that we have goals within the out of school time grants, but you all as out of school time providers should have your own internal goals. You have your own missions. You are nonprofits. So you have a mission to serve a certain amount of youth, not just because you want to hit a number, because you really want to make a substantive impact within the community that you serve. So partnering with schools can certainly amplify enrollment, accessing to out of school time programs, and then also thinking about partnerships within any community-based setting that you might have. And then, of course, outcomes. We want to think about the improving student outcomes, whether they are directly academically based, maybe they are developmental outcomes that are looking at their civic engagement or their belonging in social settings, social emotional learning, thinking about those school partnerships you have, the community-based partnerships, working to collectively promote greater outcome achievement for the young people you serve, including homework completion, positive behavior development, and initiatives within their own lives, because we know that young people might encounter certain challenges that can impact their own development, and so that partnership helps fortify development as a priority. And then, of course, strengthening the community connections. Quite often, there is dissension in communities. There is disagreements. We know they happen. But partnerships build stronger connections between schools, families, and the greater community. And they foster a sense of this shared responsibility. A lot of out of school time providers serve some of the same youth. And that's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing to see that a young person is benefiting maybe from a computer coding program, and they might be benefiting from a leadership program, and they're gaining various skills that one program can supplement for the other. Addressing those specific needs in which partnerships can help identify and address the student needs, whether they're academic related, socio-emotional, or just access to general resources. Maybe they have transportation needs, they have food insecurity needs or health insecurity needs. There's a lot of health disparities that often can go unaddressed. So the collaboration to recognize when a young person has needs that are maybe not being met in the home or the school, that partnership can go a long way. And then family engagement. We know that if you serve a young person, you have to serve the family, you have to work with the family. And partnerships can truly promote that family engagement across the board, and where there are opportunities for their parents and guardians to learn more about the child's learning, the connections with the school staff, community-based staff, as well as their participation in program activities, and incorporating parents and guardians within a school-time program promotes buy-in, promotes their investment and understanding. So partnerships also go across to the families, 100%. And now, without further ado, we're going to spotlight a very special out-of-school-time provider who's been with us for some time, who has worked pretty diligently to amass some very effective and successful partnerships. And some of you all might be familiar with the organization, but they're known as Horizons Greater Washington. So they do have a separate presentation which I'm going to share for you all. And we're going to get into it right now. So we should have Horizons guest Mike DeMarco on with
Hi,
us
Mark.
today. Hi, Mike.
And
Feel free to take it away.
Yeah, hi, I'm Mike DeMarco. I'm the Executive Director at Horizons Greater Washington, and I'm also joined by Valentina Gabrielli, who is our Program Director as well. And we're excited to talk through this today. Mark, you can go ahead to the next slide. So we're going to be pretty quick, but just a quick overview. What we're going to do is just a very, very basic background information just about Horizons Greater Washington. Talk a little bit about why we partner with other organizations and other providers, and then the benefits of that partnership and how we've went about selecting partners. So you can go to the next slide here. All right, so just very, very quick about Horizons Greater Washington. This is our 25th anniversary doing our work here in the DC area. We are a primarily summer program, but also have a Saturday Academy, which we were able to launch with support from Learn 24. We serve across the region, we serve 420 K-8 kindergarten through 8th grade students in both summer and Saturday Academy. Our students make a 9-year commitment to the program. Most of them starting the summer after kindergarten and staying with us 9 years. One of the things that is like really core to Horizons is that we are a academic program, but we really take a whole child approach to learning. And because of that, I think we're very ripe for partnership. One, in the space in which we're operating, which is summer, which when a lot of programs are not operating, but then also with this whole child approach, there's a lot of space for partners to come in and do what they do best within our program. Then two other just like really quick things about Horizons that make us unique is, in addition to all the academic work and this whole child approach, part of that is also swimming as a core part of our program. We can talk a little bit about that later if you want. And then this other piece of really working with our families to identify and remove barriers to participation. So we do transportation and supplies and food. I know a lot of other programs do some of those things too, but that also gives like a ripe environment for partnership as well. So you can go to the next slide. Valentina, you're on mute.
Thanks, Mike. So partnership is essential for us to deliver really high quality programming to our students. We expose them to experiences without mission creep. So we stay true to the purpose and align with our mission. Funders like collaboration, and a grant to Horizons can really help impact other organizations as well. And it really helps with planning and staffing. So when we partner, it gives us a wider pool of talent, and they're the experts, and so that's where the high quality comes from. And in the planning too, again, it's the specialized knowledge that they bring in these specific areas.
You can go to the next slide.
Oh, next. Yes, thank you.
So just to build up what Valentina said, partnering with other organizations lets each best. Like Valentina said, there's not mission creep that in serving the whole child. Like we know a lot about academics, but there's, for example, like art, or other pieces where like we're not the experts, and people can bring that in. So one of the things, just some of the organizations who we've partnered with have been Peace of Mind for social emotional learning and mindfulness, Project Create, another Learn 24 grantee for social emotional learning and art instruction. We partner with Shepherd's Table, which is a Montgomery County-based nonprofit. They to provide our meals. Kaleva has provided outdoor adventures and field trips for our students, and then the Phillips Collection has been field trips and art instruction. And in all of these cases, it's been really, like Valentina said, it's this double bottom line. In a lot of cases, we were brought together by funders who like this collaboration, and like we got a grant that then we were able to. So Shepherd's Table is an example where we got a grant that then passed that, we paid for meals with them, and that allowed us to serve 400 Horizon students over the summer, but also impact, I think, allow them to their mission of serving hundreds of thousands of meals. So it's really beneficial. You can go to the next slide here, Mark.
And so something that's key to us when we're partnering is really identify the organizational need that we have. And then we find the partners who will best meet those needs. And so partnerships should feel easy. So definitely have mutual goals, share those goals. And sometimes we've had to walk away and say, this is really not what we're looking for. And so it should feel easy. And identify needs within the organization, and then again, like find the partner. So like Mike just talked about some of these, but Project Create, we wanted art and another programming that was more robust for our students. And then we also learned that they do social art therapy, and so it wasn't just the art that we were providing, but it was art through therapy, or therapy through the arts. And we were connected by a funder. And then Shepherd's Table, again, we wanted to improve the food quality, and so we partner with Shepherd's Table, and they offer breakfast, lunch, and snacks for our students throughout the summer. And Peace of Mind, also introduced by a funder. We had a meeting, and we were looking to really build a more robust social emotional learning curriculum, and so in partnering with them, we created the program that we now use for Saturday Academy, and then that was very successful, so we extended it into our summer as well.
And I think just to build on that, Valentina's being a little bit like humble about her own role in this too. Like, just I think the Project Create example is a great one of our students were desiring art and art instruction to fit into our Saturday Academy, and then she proactively sat with a funder who funds a lot of art organizations to really find the best fit. And then just to build on that first bullet point, one of the things, like I'll say in any meeting, I think there's just so many great organizations, and you can love their mission and love their work, but sometimes the partnership still isn't right. And so I'll say that at the start of any meeting, to say like, I love what you do. And like, let's kind of map this out, and it should feel easy. And if it doesn't feel easy, like we should both feel okay, like walking away, no hard feelings, because like with partnership, it can be challenging at times. There's going to be more communication, and like, if it feels easy and everybody's goals are aligned, it shouldn't feel like anybody is like stretching to make this work. Oh, I have to stretch the staffing. I have to, like, if it's not easy, that's okay. We'll figure out another way. And so that would be one piece of advice I would give when pursuing partnerships. That's it.
Mark, you're muted.
Sorry, everyone. Teams has not been my friend today. Valentina, Mike, thank you both so much. Really insightful, just learning about, one, the providers that work with you all, how you identify them, the benefits in terms of mutual goals, funding allocations. Is there anything that you all would like to expand upon on like what has worked really well in either those long-term relationships? Do you foresee that these partnerships to go for years to come? I know, a lot of nonprofits that focus on school time really want to look at that long-term impact. And is there anything you can speak to just on the long-term impact, maybe mutual goals that you have with your partners?
I mean, I think that in all of these cases, with especially the 3 partners we have identified here, is you set something up at the beginning, but of course you're going to learn and grow, and it takes consistent communication with them. And so the example of Project Create, I think, is a good example. We started with them last Saturday Academy,
Mm,
and said we wanted to do art therapy, and they kind of said the feedback, like, actually the time in your schedule is not like we're trying to do it, but it's just not enough time. It's a 60-minute block, it needs to be 75 minutes. And it's like, okay, so when we come back next year, that's really helpful to know, because we want to prioritize that. And so let's change the blocks around to make sure that that can happen.
mm,
um and I think, like, similarly in peace of mind and Shepherd's Table, same thing, of being able to, at one point they were getting stretched at what we were asking for, and say, okay,
mm,
that's okay. It doesn't have to, let's think about how we can work together to make this easier. If you don't have the staffing to do XYZ, we don't have to push you into that. We can build towards that. So I do think having transparent conversations, and again, it should feel easy. And when it's not, reaching out to say, wait, this isn't happening. And again, where there's like that alignment
mm.
of like, uh, everyone's kind of doing what they do. It's not that we are stretching to do something, or they are stretching to do something that they don't normally do. That could be the challenge.
It's awesome. And one thing I do want to highlight, Mike, is it's interesting that you have Shepherd's Table and then Kaleva, I saw, which are two Montgomery County-based organizations. So knowing that, you serve youth in the district, however, you're thinking beyond the box, and that you can work with organizations that might operate outside the district to provide critical services that could also provide opportunities. We know a lot of young people are just often sequestered to the neighborhoods they reside in and don't get opportunities to get out, get into nature, or explore new experiences. And so, how did you maybe find Kaleva, for example, or find Shepherd's Table and determine they were a good partnership fit?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, like, this is some of the stuff just like through partners, honestly. So Kaleva came through the schools where our program is hosted, has had a partnership
Okay.
with Kaleva that we were able to transfer to Horizons. But then, Shepherd's Table, again, it's being connected it was through a funder that made that connection. I would just emphasize that that's a great way of building a relationship with a funder too. 1124 has been a great connector, like, and
Mm,
and thinking about, really having conversations with program officers and being transparent, say, we have this need, is there someone you can connect us with? And I think being transparent about it also, like, sometimes it can be hard to start that conversation, because you can be excited about introducing you to somebody, and then you say, like, it's not gonna work. But just I think just as long as you come to it with good intentions about, look, we want to make this work, and we all want the best for our kids, and we hope it will. But if it's not, like, we're not going to force anything. I think that you can navigate that conversation with funders. But yeah, asking funders, asking peers, go to Learn24 and say, here's a challenge or an opportunity or something we want to pursue, and see where there might be benefits to it.
all right. Thank you. I'm sorry. Somehow I keep getting muted. I'm going to keep that little box there. Anywho, just wanted to reiterate the value of you identifying needs within your programming and within the student body that you serve, and recognizing the strengths that your organization has and how they can be supplemented by these other organizations that excel in these areas, and then being creative in outreach and trying to find really enriching opportunities to provide youth served by your program. So definitely want to commend you all for that. And thank you all for your presentation day. And then just a quick highlight before you go. I know you all were at a conference yesterday, maybe still there. And it sounds like a great opportunity for partnerships in the future for providers. So might you be able to share which conference?
Sure. We were at National After School Association Conference in Nashville. We got back late last night. And I mean, that is a very wide, I don't know if any other groups were there. It's a very wide ranging conference. Obviously it has a national presence. Next year it'll actually be in DC. And I think that I guess one thing, there were 1,800 people there, so like hundreds of organizations, and so from across the country. And so it really is a wide swath of finding different organizations in different stages that you can, consider, like, learning from as well. I think particularly I think particularly if you're looking to like launch something new, I think if you have kind of a more established thing, there's a lot of like newer types of organizations there. But if you're launching like a newer initiative, I think that's an opportunity to really go and learn from some other some of the other organizations that might be present there, and just get ideas, or find out, this is something that they're doing in Boston. Is there something else that exists within DC similar?
Awesome, Mike. Well, I'm glad you all had a great experience. Hopefully you made some good connections and keep up the phenomenal work representing for the youth of the district. And thankfully we have one of your partners here today, trustfully from Project Create. So we want to pass the baton so we can learn a little bit of their experience working with you all, as well as their perception of partnerships in general. So thank you so much, Mike and Valentina. We really appreciate you all. Horizons Greater Washington. Very grateful for your presence and partnership as an OST Learn 24 grantee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So thank you, Valentina. Appreciate you. So do we have Project Create on with us today?
Yes, we do.
Jasmine, hello.
Hello. Great to see common partners here in this meeting. I don't have anything prepared. I just heard us being shouted out, and I was like, awesome, great to hear it.
We welcome just a little insight on your behalf on your relationship with Horizons, how it's been working for you all, and your general approach to partnerships and how you find the benefits of partnerships for your program and for the youth that you serve.
Oh, thank you. Well, I really wish I had our community partnerships person with me, Josh. He would be able to speak a lot to that. But I do a lot of data analysis. I do the data collection and kind of handle the metrics for Project Create, so we can stay with it, so we can make sure we're meeting our goals and make sure we're meeting our programmatic goals. But I know just from hearing things from Josh and understanding like who we're all working with, a lot of names pop out to me, and Horizons is one of those where I know we work with Horizons, and we have a whole community partnerships program really dedicated to anyone who wants to partner with Project Create. And that was our what's the good word for that, like flagship program, actually, where we were solely there just to partner, just to collaborate. And then we developed into our studio programs when we got, a building, and then our newest program is the arts. Our newest program is the art therapy program that we're very happy that people are really enjoying that, and their ears are perking up when they, hear art therapy and SEL. So I think as long as you're open and you are able to communicate those, you're able to communicate what you need and find common ground, make sure those the boundaries are very established, you can have a very fruitful partnership, and the main people who are benefiting from it are the kids. So I'm very happy to hear this. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. And I'm glad you concluded on that note. The main beneficiaries are the young people, are the kids, as you stated. And that's something that we always have to remind ourselves, is we're trying to create these experiences, and they're collaborative experiences, and they're like components that build on each other, kind of like the youth program quality pyramid, building up the pyramid. But it's really reassuring to learn the value of the partnership you have with Horizons, and also even from your position of analyzing data and looking at outcome achievement indicators of success and whatever other metrics you all utilize, but recognizing that the partnership help promote those indicators of success. Would you agree with that, Jasmine?
Absolutely. I think once you have a clear idea of what you're measuring, what your outcomes are, those
Mhm.
program outcomes and how you're going to measure that, it really makes it easy when you can clearly see whether you're meeting those or not. And course correct if needed. It's always a growth mindset is the best one to have. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
You're speaking the language, Jasmine. I really appreciate the messages you're sending across today because I think it really connects across the board when you think about partnerships. As you know, the outcomes that you're seeking to measure, whether quantitatively or qualitatively, and recognizing that the partnerships help, uh, fortify these outcomes to be attained and, and promote that long-term impact. Because that's really what we're looking for is that long-term impact. OST providers, know that they're committed you are committed to the youth you serve. And so how can we really support them in the long run? Well, thank you so much again, Jasmine, and definitely shout out to Project Create DC, another phenomenal OST provider and grantee. And we have one more grantee that's going to speak today. Some of you all might be familiar with them. They're known as Tech Turnip, and they provide truly engaging computer coding and STEAM programming and web development. And I've seen their program for years. I previously was with the Institute for Youth Development and have to facilitate site visits. And I was observing their program online and witnessing these young boys, probably teens. They literally stopped everything they did to just glue themselves to these computers and learn very complex computer coding and working with AI and developing websites. And I was enamored. I was truly blown away. So definitely big shout out to Tech Turnup, who have been OST grantee for some years, but previously they had a different role. And so I want to welcome their founder, Mr. Tim Whedon, to speak on his experience growing as a small nonprofit and where he started and where he is today as an out of school time grantee. So Tim, please take it away.
All right, great. Thank you, Mark, for the introduction. I appreciate that. First, I want to just start off, and you mentioned something earlier, Mark, that resonates, with all of us. And I think one of the things is like, for us, our goal is like to imagine a world where every child, regardless of their zip code, has access to cutting edge technology and creative opportunities. And so that's kind of what we do at Tech Turnup. And our start began with an organization. I really appreciate them for their support and just kind of rocking us with us throughout the period is a program called Exodus Treatment Center. And so that was our first contract that we had in order to do programming. And so we weren't officially announced ourselves as a nonprofit. We were going through the stage of, so at that point we were just contracting. We were going through the stage of putting together our organization, and we set on the name Tech Turnup, which the kids came up with, that particular name being, student-centered focused. And so at that point, we began to do, with them, we were able to do 2 years of summer program. And then when the pandemic happened, we were able to even add on additional time with them where we were able to work online, remote, and work with them as well. So that's been a great opportunity and a great learning experience for us as one, as a contractor, but two, but just having that partnership and them giving us advice and as well as just, indicating what other programs or what else is out there, what opportunities that we could begin to apply for. So I really appreciate that, that support from Mr. Hill. And then from that point on, we began to apply for grants, and we were fortunate enough to get summer program grants with Learn 24 as well as the fall programming. And we were able to kind of build from there and start out, start this process of, even expanding and working with more kids. And as you mentioned, impact. At that point, we probably went from 20 kids to up to about 50. We doubled the number of kids that we began to serve up to 50 kids. And so through that, we were able to build, expand our relationships with other organizations. And I believe it's, for all of us, look to, look to other larger organizations such as, the YMCA's, the Boys and Girls Club. We were able to partner with the Boys and Girls Club and be able to kind of have an in-house programming with them and provide services for them, as well as we were able to work with DPR as well. So, have an opportunity to work with them and provide services for their internship programming, helping kids around coding. So, just continuously, again, through word of mouth, as well as just people just, through different programs we've been able to connect with at these various events of Learn 24. They had the day where, all the vendors are there. We have an opportunity to meet with other organizations and at that point to build relationships with them. So we've been able to continue again, expand from 40, and then we hit 100, and then just continuously expanding. And one of the things I want to mention, although we are focused on DC, but through our experience and that knowledge, as well as our partnerships, we've been able to now offer opportunities into Maryland as well. So we also have established ourselves within the Maryland region and providing services as well due to this kind of network and these partnerships we've been able to work with Learn 24 and various other partners that we work with. And so we're also based. We really like to focus on wards 7 and 8, but we do cover more wards than that. So because we're up at Jellic Recreational Center, so we do cover more wards than that, where a lot of students are a part of magnet schools and are being bused in from other areas as well. So that's pretty much how we've been able to maintain and engage folks around these partnerships. But again, different events to go to. These opportunities are great ways to kind of cross collaborate, as well as look to other larger nonprofit organizations to partner with and get support from.
Thank you for sharing, Tim. I mean, that's really quite a history, and just witnessing your program and virtually and in person, it's really been a beautiful experience. And it's interesting to know that you all started as a subcontractor of a coordinating entity, right? And
Yes.
Shout out to Exodus Treatment Center, who Tim mentioned. If any were familiar with that organization, they provide some truly vital work at DCHA housing sites in Ward 8, Woodland Parish and Highland Additions and Highland Dwellings. And Pastor Hill founded the organization, was a previous OST commissioner. And how did you connect with Pastor Hill? How did he recognize the value in your program? And at that time, were you all a 501c3, or you just an LLC in the process of becoming a 501c3?
Yeah, we were in between the getting our 501(c), and so we actually applied for. I can't remember the exact name of the grant, but we went to one of our first meetings, which was out of a location, I believe in Northeast location, where we met folks from Learn 24, and we applied for a specific grant. And in that grant, they make choices of what organizations they wanted to get behind. We had an opportunity to speak with different organizations even before the application was submitted. So that gave us an opportunity to talk a little bit about ourselves and just seeing it on the ledger or on a piece of paper, but talk a little bit about ourselves. So we just we connected at that particular event. I believe it was, definitely was hosted by Learn 24. So that's where our first connection with Exodus would begin there.
Wow, that's been quite a journey. And then you've been a grantee since roughly 22?
Yes.
No? Okay,
Yes.
so this is
Don't date me, but yes.
no problem. Well, that's great. You all are doing tremendous work, and thankfully your partnerships, as you know, Boys and Girls Club and schools. I know you all are around Brown High School, and just recognizing the value as a small growing organization. Now you're reaching out to Maryland. I did not know that. So it's great to see that you're thinking outside the box and trying to expand services and reach more young people. And also sharing the fact that the young people created the name Tech Turn Up, because I did not know that. And that, I think, is just astounding volume. That's incorporating youth voice right there. We always talk about youth voice in a lot of the trainings, and of course OST Office, just messaging and just goals to promote youth leadership, and providing young people an opportunity to really help shape your organization program. That will resonate for years to come for those involved and for all your new students. They know it's hip. They know that young people created that. They have some ownership. So thank you for sharing. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tim. And I'm glad you highlighted networking events and benefits you've seen from it, because we're going to take it away and just do a quick highlight of Summer in the City, our next upcoming event. So thank you so much, Tim, for joining us today. Really appreciate you. Everyone check out techturnup.com. Is that correct? You're welcome to put the link in the
Yes.
chat. Same for you, Jasmine, Project Create DC. Please put your website in the chat. And of course, thank you to Mike and Valentina from Horizons Greater Washington. So truly grateful for all of the OST grantee partners. And, we just wanted to take this opportunity to highlight the values of partnership and how effective they've been for, truly impacting the youth served by their organizations. So we're going to shift gears now, as Tim brought up networking events and the value of Learn 24 OST Office hosted events. And this one in particular, as many of you all might know, is coming up very soon on March 29th, which is Saturday, at MLK Library, which you all know is right near Chinatown, Penn Quarter area. And this is going to be probably one of our best summer in cities yet. We have it's all hands on deck. We're really excited. We have a lot of organizations involved. And for those who attended after school in the city, you're not required, but you are still welcome to join just for networking purposes, just to learn about other providers. There's also going to be other DC agencies there and families, young people, and it's a great gathering for community. But our colleague here, Ms. Camille Lessig, has been very involved in coordinating certain logistics to make sure this event goes well, because some people are going to be having tables to set up and be featured, and some are just going to attend. So we want to make sure that everyone is comfortable, has enough space, is well prepared. And Camille, would you mind sharing a couple updates, if anything that you might find pertinent regarding registration logistics?
Sure. So hey everyone. So we sent the interest form out in February regarding Summer in the City. Earlier this week, if you had indicated that you were interested in attending, tabling, or possibly presenting at the event, you did receive a confirmation email from me on Tuesday. We are still working to kind of finalize the table assignments, the order, and the performance schedule. So if you did get the email about performances, I will be following up with each of those organizations to try to rough out a schedule given the space that we have. And then to everyone who will be tabling, attending, and or performing, you will be getting specific load-in instructions given the requirements that DC Public Library has. In the interim, if anyone has any questions about Summer in the City, just wants to touch base, or has anything you want to share, please don't hesitate to reach out. Something I will also add is we will have a space at the event where organizations that are attending, or if you're just coming by to drop by the event, we will have a space if you want to drop printed materials, so brochures, like recruitment, flyers, that kind of stuff. We will have a space if you want to kind of just drop those, so that parents can kind of peruse those and pick those up. And that would be especially helpful if, you're not required to attend this event, or, you just aren't planning on tabling. And the last thing I will say is that all of our tables are being provided by DC Public Library and DPR. So do not bring any additional tables to the space. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to put my email as well as my cell phone number in the chat. And if I miss your call, I will call you back. So don't hesitate to reach out if anything comes across your mind about Summer in the City. Oh, and if you have any ideas of people that we should reach out to, or organizations to connect with families or tell them about the event, I welcome those as well. So here to make this as successful as we can.
Thank you for sharing, Camille. So for all those planning to attend, please reach out to Camille. You most likely have received emails from her, so please continue to correspond with Camille. She's truly taking a heavy lift. This is going to be a different type of event because we're in this beautiful space, the MLK Library. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the space. They have a rooftop. They have many different levels, art exhibits. So it's going to be a really engaging event, but there are a lot of logistics to consider, load-in logistics, elevators that we have to navigate, of course, getting supplies. And I really appreciate how, Camille, thank you for highlighting, if you have ideas of other organizations, as we're talking about partnerships, we know that there are a lot of organizations that serve young people that are not out of school time grantees. Perhaps they want to join, they want to be present, they want to feature their programs. It'd be great to hear. I'm sure you all work with other organizations. So really thinking about those partnerships, because now more than ever, we need to be collaborative and supportive. To promote the health, well-being, and outcome achievement for the youth of the district. So with that said, one thing I will highlight, and we're going to have this released quite soon, we have a subcontractor interest form that's been developed, and this interest form will help coordinate with our coordinating entities. So we have some coordinating entity grantees currently, such as East River Family Strengthening Collaborative, which some of you all might be familiar with. We're very much based and dedicated to the well-being of Ward 7 residents, as well as Exodus Treatment Center, and others. But needless to say, smaller nonprofits and or larger organizations might want to serve these communities and might be interested in subcontracting. So we're going to distribute the subcontracting interest form the coming week for your own review if you are looking for partnerships in this capacity. So just food for thought, no pressure. If you're fully solvent, no worries. But we just want to make every opportunity present because visibility is key. And thank you all once again to our esteemed partners, Horizons Greater Washington, Project Create, Tech Turnup. They truly made for a really engaging presentation today. We're certainly going to share the slide deck for everyone's interest. I honestly learned a lot from Horizons presentation as well as Project Create and Tech Turnup. And I just can't give enough praise to Tech Turnup for highlighting the fact that the young people created their name, because we know young folks like to turn up, but if they could turn up with the tech, that's a beautiful thing. So let's keep that trajectory going. So without further ado, we know you all are dealing with a lot of different matters relating to young people, relating to your youth service, to your organizational solvency, and just general grant management. And so with that said, we open up the floor for the next 11 minutes. If you have any grant-related questions or questions related to summer in the city, because that is a very relevant matter. Also, a friendly reminder, the PQA, the Program Quality Assessment, deadline is coming up for non-cohort members. So all grantees, unless you've been notified of exemption by your grant management specialist, if you're not a quality cohort member, your PQA is due April 4th. If you are a quality cohort member, your PQA is due April 29th. And you should have received correspondence from Ms. Renee Abdullah if you are a quality cohort member. So I just wanted to include those friendly reminders, and we can certainly put any links in the chat. But you should have received correspondence from your grant management specialist and or institute team on the appropriate links that you need to submit your scores. So, and that's enough for me. I want to give the floor to everyone. So questions, anyone has any questions? I'll stop sharing and we can raise some hands and unmute some folks.
Mark, there's a question in the chat related to background checks.
Oh, that's always a great question. For background checks, does it affect the completion of the clearance if someone puts in the wrong position? That's a great question. Thank you for asking, Jasmine. So many of you all are aware of the updated TrueScreen process that was implemented by DCHR as of late last spring. And many know that there are a lot of nuances and dynamics that need to be navigated within that new clearance process. Part of which is that when a grantee requests for a background check to be facilitated by the out-of-school time office, OST will respond, our team will respond with some very specific guidance and instructions, because you'll receive automated emails from TrueScreen, and in order to successfully complete the registration process, you need to follow the guidance we provide. So trustfully, one thing we do include is you have to include the position, which is Youth Development Practitioner, the agency, which is DME-Learn24, and it's formatted in a specific manner, and then the division. And the division is actually where you perform your work duties, so your program site, for example. Now, at times, I've seen this happen where an applicant will incorrectly complete the form and maybe not include that information. Sometimes we'll get the results back automatically because the request was facilitated on behalf of our agency, and it has to be executed by a member of our team in TrueScreen to submit that request for your staff. So therefore, it has been executed on behalf of the DME office, the Office of Deputy Mayor for Education. However, at times clearances can be missing and take some time. So if you don't receive the clearance results in a timely manner, please follow up with your grant management specialist and or backgroundcheck.learn24ds.gov, and we can coordinate with DCHR, because what might happen is if they input the wrong information, the results might not automatically come back to us as efficiently as we want. So that is kind of for your context, Jasmine. So that's why we provide that guidance and instructions to really make sure we know this process is a little more complicated than it was previously, requires a lot of keen foresight. So just make sure you follow those guidance, and then if your staff did not correctly complete the process, just follow up with us if you didn't receive results in a timely manner, and trustfully we'll obtain those results from DCHR. Thank you, Jasmine. Great question. Anyone else? Floor is yours. Anyone have any questions about summer in the city? Neil, still with us? Or PQA, because that is the next sizable grant deliverable. It's coming up. We're less than a month away for the first deadline for non-cohort members. Anyone want to give any shout outs or highlights, maybe even share a success story, maybe an amazing moment that just happened with the youth in your program and something that you're just really elated and just feeling boosted about and you just really want to share?
Yes, I can share.
Thank you, Daniela.
Two things. One, Brian was one of the my mentoring coordinator was one of the honoree at the NNA conference. There was a pool of honorees that were 30 or under after school, providers, and he was one of the honorees. So I'm very proud of that. The other thing is that, we had a bunch of activities that are really very interesting. We had the Black History Month cook-off at Lecky Education Campus. We must have had 50 parents there, which was really amazing. There were performances, and then the kids had a panel of judges, and they cook African-based, food in honor of Black History Month. They had to research the food, explains the origin, create a poster, and so we had our winners and lots of prizes, and so that was wonderful. I was super excited about the 50 parents being there. I was less excited by the fact that I got the flu probably in that situation, and I'm still fighting it, but that's okay. And the other things, we started our college visits, and so we are taking kids to different colleges. And the last visit was to Bowie State. We took the Johnson Middle School kids to Bowie State, a really large group of 23, 25 kids, and it was a tour of the environmental programs, and then all facilities, the athletic facilities, sponsored by one of the fraternity there. And we have, funding to do other, 2 or 3 of these visits, bringing especially 8th graders to see college campuses, which I think is really very, very important. And coming up on April 8th, our youth advisory board is organizing a service project refurbishing the Memorial Garden in Lecky. In 9/11, on the plane that crashed in the Pentagon, there was a teacher from Lecky and a student from Lecky, so who lost their lives. And so there have been Memorial Garden established since then, and that has become one of our service projects for the youth advisory board and the mentoring group. So they're all really exciting things because this hands-on project-based, it's just the way the kids, remain engaged. We also have 3 murals that are painting, one at Lecky, one at McKinley, and one at Stuart Hobson. So, really wonderful things happening in the program. Makes me really happy.
Wow. Wow, Daniela, thank you for sharing that's beautiful stories. And I think everyone learned something. I mean, I really commend the successful turnout you all had at Lecky for Black History Month of 50 parents. That's quite a feat. Getting that many parents in one space in a out of school time environment is not easy. We know that, parents are busy. And then, of course, the African food culinary celebration as a former culinary educator and as someone who lived in Ghana, that has a warm place in my heart. So thank you so much for sharing, as well as the memorial for those lost in 9/11. So that's really powerful. We have 2 more minutes, but we welcome insight from you all. If anyone else wants to share any highlight success stories, Mita, I see your mic's off.
Yeah, may I just share really quickly in the spirit of partnership and collaboration? Worked with my longtime friend Daniela to secure a partnership with a group called EYL 365. And that group not only works with After School All Stars, they now are contracted by us, and they created a fabulous new element of our programming called Fabric Arts. It's just a part of our overall effort to kind of introduce, to reinforce math and reading and develop what we call future ready skills. And so all year long, kids do STEM activities. Then in the fall, they do literacy arts. And now in the spring, they participate in fabric arts activities. So they will be quilting, weaving, and sewing through May. And all of those activities are supplemented by books and literature that help kids understand the cultural relevance of these sort of arts. But what's really exciting is to be able to work with professionals like EYL 365 and have them develop our curriculum and train our staff. And now also they've gone above and beyond, and they're kind of securing volunteers to help and materials to help out. So thank you, Daniela. This is a gift that keeps giving, and just want to share the power of a different kind of collaboration that I think can be helpful for all of us. And I share this too because I think we need to name like the elephant in the room, which is we're in a really strange and stressful policy and financial time. And I think that the way that we can all endure to persevere and serve children is kind of through collaboration and partnership. So I welcome more conversation. Anybody'd like to contact me, please do. And I will be reaching out as well.
Thank you for sharing, Mita. That was really like icing on the cake for this partnership discussion. The fact that we have 2 grantees here, so we've already had 3, now we have 5 representing just the value of how collaborative you all are and thinking strategically across the board to provide these enriching experiences, to really provide these supplemental components. So Mita, if you could just share your organization, because I don't think we got to hear who you represent.
I represent the fishing school.
Fishing School, shout out, phenomenal beacon of hope in the district. And if you could put your email in the chat, Mita, if anyone's interested in learning more. Well, we are at 12 o'clock, so we don't want to eat up any more of your time. We're truly grateful for everyone's presence today and partnership, commitment to service for youth and families in the District of Columbia. And as some folks have noted, the elephant in the room, as Mita noted, we know that this is not the easiest time for many, and we have to just be resilient and remain focused on the service and the value provided by your programs, because you all are providing truly indelible value to these communities. And District of Columbia needs you all. Young people need you all. So let's remain vigilant and work towards those greater goals. And remember, youth development is a partnership and it is a process. So let's think collaboratively, strategically. We look forward to seeing those who will be present at Summer in the City. And please remember just to continue to communicate with your grants management specialists. If you have any grant related questions, reach out to Camille if you have questions related to Summer in the City. And background checks, of course, background check.learn24@dc.gov. And thank you all for participating and joining us today. And we'll certainly be sending out the slide deck and the recording. So we hope you all have a great afternoon and your programs continue to excel. Thank you for your continued partnership. Thank you all. Take care. Thank you, Valentina. Definitely super shout out to all our guests today. Horizons Greater Washington, Project Create DC, Tech Turn Up, and shout out to Daniela from After School All Stars and Mita from Fishing School, who just shared some really beautiful stories. The thing about but not necessarily. He'll just have to get like permission to go into our shared like and that's okay type of thing. Like you'll have to go to